Hello, good evening, everyone. So we are going to start the episode 14 of the Anyone Python Season 3. So this is the our second last episode of the entire Anyone Python. So next week, I'm going to wrap up all the season and the episode of the Anyone Python with the last topic. So unfortunately, I cannot keep the regular time because I have a plan to visit the Korea the next week, the Saturday. So we are going to have the last episode, July 30. So Friday, the 8 p.m. the Eastern Standard Time. So please check your schedule and make the setup your schedule for the last episode. We are going to finalize the entire season and episode of the Anyam Python the next week. So as usual, please turn on your video. That will be really, really helpful. And also the mute your audio because we do not have the many students in this room. So you can unmute by yourself if you have any question. So then also you can ask any question using chat box to the TA. Today we have Brian and Nick so to help you. So please use the chat box and you can unmute by yourself. So today, before we start, I'd like to watch the video first.
Hard drives work. So when you save, where does it go? So there's two major technologies for that currently. One is this is a flash disk. This actually goes into the digital camera. Or if you have one of those USB keys that has plug into a computer, it's a similar technology.
Let me share the screen.
A 2 GB flash card.
Hold on.
Which is actually still used for some stuff. It's this thing, which is called a hard drive. This is a 3.5 inch.
It's my mistake to share the screen. Okay, so this is the one. Let's go back.
Hi, my name is Nick Parlante, and this is a video about how hard drives work. So when you save a file or an image or something on a computer, how does that work? Where does it go? So there's two major technologies for that currently. One is this little guy. This is a flash disk. Actually goes in a digital camera. Or if you have one of those USB keys that you plug into a computer, it's a similar technology to this. And that's kind of the new way. And this is a 2 GB flash card. So the old way, which is actually still used for some stuff, is this thing, which is called a hard drive. This is a 3.5 inch hard drive, which you would normally see in a desktop computer or in a server. There's a similar variant called a 2.5 inch hard drive that's just like a little bit smaller, that is very popular in laptops. So this is a 120 gigabyte hard drive, and it's fallen out of use, so it's getting sacrificed today for this demo. So normally this thing is kept totally sealed, but for today this one's going to get sacrificed. It's not getting used. So the way this works is there's this metal disc here. And it actually has a perfect mirror finish on it. So actually what you're seeing there is my ceiling. But so it has a coating on it that's optimized for storing magnetism. So this thing spins, and then there's this arm here. And at the very end of the arm, if I zoom in on it, there's a little
structure. It has a CD. It's called the disk, and the disk is cylinder. It's like the axis is rotation.
Normally, right now it's off, but normally it ranges over the whole disk. So that is the head is a little electromagnet. And so the way this works is in order to write some data, like if you want to store a digital image, the disk is spinning at, say, 7,200 RPM, pretty fast. And the head will move over to be right over some particular circular track around this thing. And when the disk is spun to be in the right position, then the head will very quickly go through a series of north and south magnetism. And so in effect, it'll write that pattern of north and south magnetism onto the disk just beneath it. And the head is said to fly very near to the disk. So that's why it has to be also clean, because it's really, really near so that the magnetism can get across and the track is really small. So that's how it can take data, which is essentially zeros and ones, and encode that data on a circular track on the disk as a series of north and south magnetic poles. So then reading just goes the other way. To read the data back, the head would go over and position to where, just over the right circular track. And then as the disk goes underneath there, the head will notice the north and south pattern of magnetism kind of going underneath it. And from that, say north is 1 and south is 0 or whatever, it can recover whatever the original pattern of zeros and ones was. So that's how it works. So let me on here. I'm going to try and plug this one in. Now, normally this would be stored, as I said, in the computer. You would never run it this way. But I'm just going to try this. So give this thing power. There we go. So you notice it has that sort of stereotypical sound as it kind of spins up, and you've maybe heard that
right now,
when you were like turning on your laptop or your computer or something. Now just there, the head was made, you saw it moving, and it was made kind of like a clanking sound. That wasn't a normal operation sound. I think that's some kind of error, failure mode it's gone into or something, because I've got the cover off, and it's maybe recognizing that things, something has gone terribly wrong in its world. All right, so let me try, so now that the disk is spinning and the head is just kind of waiting. So let me plug this into my computer, and what I'd like to do is just initiate some write commands just to try and, give the head something to do, to ask it to write something instead. There we go. Okay, it's just mounted on my computer.
You can hear
as I said, that loud sound, that's not normal. That's just because I'm abusing it here. All right, so let's try this. And I'll give it something to do. There we go.
So basically,
you can see the head is like moving very quickly. Like I've given it some enormous series of commands to like write a bunch of files, and so it's just jumping over to be over. I mean, who knows? It's got some scheme to organize the circular tracks. So it's jumping over to write little bits of data. There we go. And I'll be quiet so you can hear. Okay, not that clanking sound. Okay, shush. Sure that helps. So as it jumps around from track to track, it does make a little sort of a popcorn sound. Sort of a boop, boop, boop. Okay, I'm going to try and shake this thing. Hey, stop making that sound. There we go. There, that's the normal sound. So that's the sound, you may have heard that when you hit Control S or something, telling your computer to write something, and it makes a little sound. And so what was going on is, well, for the hard drive inside your computer, the head was jumping between 2 or 3 places and making like a little tiny sound. So you may hear that as you do that. So next time you fire up a computer or do something involving a hard drive, you're curious.
Okay, that's the starting video of today's episode. So we are going to see. So you can store the data like this on the hard disk drive. Nowadays, as he introduced at the very beginning of his video, so we mostly use the first method nowadays, using the SD card or the memory stick. But still, a lot of computer use the hard disk drive, which is based on the magnetic. So I'm going to very briefly introduce how you store the data 0 or 1 on this, the hard disk drive. So then after you store the data, so we are able to read or write. We are able to use such a data in our program. So today I'm going to introduce how you can use such a data on your file and on your computer from the Python, the program. So before we start, so how can you get the data from the Python program. So you already used a lot of methods. For example, the first, so you can define the variable in the program. Like so we have used for example, name. Okay, name is variable. Then the name is Lee, like this one. So you can define the variable on your program directly. So then this variable will be the small box. So in mind, the analogy, anyone Python analogy is called the small box. So on your memory, so name box will be created and the LEE will be stored. Then in the program, so you are able to use this data using variable. This is the first one you already use. Then the second method is from your input. So do you remember that at the very beginning of any Python season 3, we have used the function input. So input is the function. So where by using this function, so you are able to the input type the data using what? The keyboard. So using the keyboard, you can type your data, then it can be stored at your variable. Then after that, it's the same as the constant variable, define the variable. Then you are able to use such a data. This is the second method. Okay. Sometimes you are able to use the mouse to get the data, like the position or the coordinate. If you are able to use something sensor, so you can get such a data from the sensor, like the mouse location. Then another method we have used, do you remember the random function? For your reminder, so computer actually does not have the really random. Do you remember that? Instead, we are using some seed number and generate pretend the random. So based on what, sometimes we can use the Unix time, the tick, 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 and then finally we have the time like that. So we are able to use the random function to generate the data. This is another method. Then are they all the method to get the data from the Python program? No, actually we have used a lot this method. This is from external source, specifically file. So file is somebody say it's everything on the computer. Whenever you are using the computer, everything is on the file format. So for example, if you log on the system, then the username and password are in a file. If you start to use for example, if you purchase the new computer, then start click the power button and start the first program, that is operating system, that's also in a file. And also the portal, whenever you take the portal, it's in the file. And also, believe it or not, if you purchase the new memory is also the file in computer system, and everything is a file. If you connect your another computer, it's a file. If you are using internet is a file. So file is really important, the format and source of the data. So you are able to use the file to get the data in the Python program. So today we are going to see how to read the file. Then eventually the data in a file will be used in the Python program. Okay, so the program that you are using in your computer is also file, and actually is from the disk drive, like the hard disk drive that I introduced at the beginning. So for example, word processing word file is a file, and the web browser actually has a lot of file. The internet, what is the internet? Internet is the method, way to send and receive a file, specifically HTML file. What about the email? Email is the also way to communicate using what? Email file. So everything is a file. So PyCharm also used whenever you start a new episode, you download the zip file. It's an archived file. And the unzip, then you are able to see a lot of Python file. It's also file. So everything is the file. So in the computer, so Python definitely can handle read and write the data file. So what is a file, by the way? So as I mentioned many times throughout the Anyone Python season 1, season 2, season 3, computer is not that smart. So computer actually can understand the 0 or 1. So then how can I create the image file or folder and the programming? So not directly use the 0 or 1, but we have the way to organize this bunch of 0 or 1, like by combining 8 of 0 or 1, like this. This is called the byte. It's an 8-bit the data. So byte is the smallest unit to represent the real data. Bit is not easy. It's too small. So bit is just the 0 or 1, but the byte is the smallest unit that can represent the real data, like the 0 to 9 or A to Z, and the small letter, the lowercase letter A to C, and some other symbol. So do you remember ASCII code used 8-bit, 1 byte to represent the data? Okay, so that is the byte. Then what is a file? Actually, file is the sequence of series of the byte. That's it. So file itself is the series of a file, the byte. Is that simple? Yes, it's very simple. But we, as you know, we have the different types of file. Like the plain text file is ASCII file. That just use 1 byte, 1 data. 1 byte, 1 letter. 1 byte, 1 character. 1 byte, 1 number, like that. So this is the plain text file. However, JPEG file is the image file. It's a very complicated the format. There's a rule inside. Eventually, you are able to understand the JPEG file format. But right now, we don't understand. So it's very complicated. It's a compression technique and a lot. But JPEG is an image file format. It's also by stream. MP3 file is also encoded for what? Audio data. So like this one. So depending on the purpose and the domain, each file has a different format. Okay, then how can we store the data like the plain text, JPEG, and MP3? I understand that those are the bytes stream, the sequence of bytes. Then how to store such a byte, the bit on the hard disk drive? So you already watched the video that introduced what is the mechanical structure of the hard disk drive, but he very briefly mentioned it used the magnetic. So now using the magnetic has the 2 ports. Magnetic has the 2 ports. One is the north and another one is the south. Okay, so here's the question: what happened? So N, north, and S meet each other. Are they friends or they hate each other? What do you think? N and S. North and south. Or south and north. What happened when north meet the south? Or when south meet the north? What happened? Anyone who knows? Yes, that means they are very friendly each other. So it's the attractive. They pull each other. So at that time, if north and south is the next two, then we are going to say this is a 0 and this is a 0. However, what happened? Same port, like the north and north, and south and south. What happened? Are they friends? Or they hate each other? They push out each other. So at that time, we can say this is the 1 and this is the 1. So when you represent the 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, like this, first start north and north, because south. So N and S, they are attractive. That means it's a 0. Then 1, 2 represent the 1, south and south. Then 0, so south and north. And 1, north and south. And this is a north and south, like this way. So you can represent the 0 or 1 using north and south pole. Then head, as you have seen the beat from the video, this is a head. Head is moving like this. Then change if data is changed. For example, if this one is changed into 1, then it will be changed as the south and south, like this way. So by moving the head, it changes the north to south, south to north, so that represents a 0 or 1 like that. So this is the way to store the bit on your hard disk drive. Then finally, the computer, using the program, you are able to store the data on your hard disk drive. So this is the example of the file. So if you open the PyCharm, why don't you open today's zip file and unzip and open the PyCharm first. So I'm going to give a couple of minutes to open any Python file. Then you are able to see the bunch of file already here. So for example, my data.txt and the first file, .py file, those are file. Okay, so why don't you open your PyCharm? If you are ready, your PyCharm, please give me thumbs up. If you are ready, the PyCharm, please give me thumbs up. I'm going to wait until you are ready. Okay, very nice. Okay, very nice, Ian. What about the others? Please open I'm going to give this is the link for today's zip file. Then you can download and unzip and open the PyCharm. Then open folder. Then you can create the Anyone Python episode 14, the project. Okay, very nice. Okay, let's start. So this is our file. So we are going to read my data from the first file the py. Okay. So why don't you open where's my data.txt file? So this is the data. This is the file that stores the data on your hard disk drive, on your file. Okay, so we are going to create the Python file, Python program that read this file and display. Okay, so this is a line by line. So anyone who ever read the poem before? This is from the Max, the Herman, the Desperata. So any volunteer who read the poem for us? Any volunteer? Any volunteer here? What about Irvin? Irvin, can you read the poem for everyone?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Okay. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as a glass. Mask Ermin Deseridia.
So,
Desperata,
Erwin,
sorry.
yeah. Can you explain very briefly about the meaning of the poem?
It's just basically saying like don't give up on love because like no matter how bad the world may be, it'll always be there.
Yes, very nice. The thumbs up. Why don't you give the thumbs up? Your thumbs up to the Erwin. Very nice. So for me, it's not easy to understand. This is my understanding in Korean. Okay. So if you can understand the Korean, okay. So it's do not give, simply the do not give up, but the love, like that. So we are going to read the poem to the Anyone Python, the program. Okay, let's start. So while I'm explaining, you just the fix, update this code. Okay, so I'm going to explain this code. Then at the same time, please add your code over here. So when you read the file, first, there are always three simple steps whenever you are using computer resource. It's a very simple. The first, open. Always you should open the file to read. You should open the memory to use. You should open the network to send the data. Always, anytime, whenever you use a computer resource, you should open. Then you can use the data. If successfully open the source, then you can use it. After you are done to use the resource, please close. So this is three steps. Then here's the question. Why do we need to close the resource after you are done? Any idea? Anyone? So why do we need to close? Do I need to close? So for example, whenever you open the door, like your entrance door on your house, if you do not close your entrance door when you leave, what happens? Your mom and dad will kill you, right? So you should close, okay? Whenever you open the door, you should close. Otherwise, your mom and the dad will be crazy, because if our computer resources are not the infinity, it's limited. So somebody would like to use such a resource. So once you are done to use the resource, you need to close. Then it will be free. So some other process, some other programs may use your resource. Otherwise, even though you are done, if you do not close, it will be forever. Okay. So please close. So whenever you read the data, so file. So you need to open the file. So why don't you start the type your code here? So like this one file, the open, the my. I think that we have the constant variable. Yes, the file name. So we can use the file, the underscore name, or you can directly type this mydata.txt. So open the file. So then you are able to use this mydata.txt. At this time, what happened? Other program would like to use this one. They cannot update. Okay, they cannot change it. So that will be a little bit different story. But you are the owner of this file. Then, when Python read the file, it will read line by line. So keep in mind, this is very important. So Python would like to read the data line by line. Okay. Then, so why don't you keep typing this one? Okay, you do not have to just listen to my lecture. Please type the code. But meanwhile, I have a question. The Professor Lee said just before, file is the series, the sequence of bytes. he didn't mention anything about the line. What is the line? Line is, you can see this is the first line, this is the second line, this is the third line, like this one. Then actually, file does not have the really line, okay? But instead, there is a special character over here, over here, over here, okay? That you cannot, it's not visible, it's invisible character, but it shows that this is the new line. So next line, and next line, and next line. So whenever your program see this new line, it will be one line. Okay, so it's a line by line. So from your display, so if you change the line, it's a new line. So first read this line, either be the about love until the semicolon. This is the first line. So this line will be index, the line, the variable, then print the line. So what happened on your screen? It will be displayed. So please, you can add your code over here, line, in file, okay? Then print the line. Very simple. That's it. So that's the way to read the line on the Python program. So what about the next one? So read the line and print. Read the line and print one by one until the end of the file. So let's run the program. So hopefully you finish your code, Python 3 and the first file, .py. Okay, so this is the output. But if you can get the same result as mine, please give me thumbs up. Okay, please give me thumbs up if you can run the Python with the file. So please give me thumbs up. Oh, very nice, yeah. Anyone else? Okay, very nice, Nick and Erwin. Okay, the problem is, actually, I don't want why this and this and this and this happen. So actually, I don't want to skip the line, every other line. That happened because of, so first, as I said, there's invisible, the new line character. This is called the new line character, \n. It's not visible, it's invisible line. So invisible line is here. Then plus when you print the Python code, automatically new line. So there are two types of new line. First here and another one is here. This one is from this and this one is from the print command, the new line. So what I want is the no space over here. So which means I need to eliminate this one. So there is the special, the function, which is called the strip. So as we have seen a lot, the line is the string. Neither be the love will be stored the line. So type of line is a string. String has the method strip. So strip get rid of any invisible character and the space. The non-informative, the data at the beginning, at the end will be eliminated like this one. Okay, so why don't we add this before we print here, the line and line dot strip. So then strip function method will delete any non-informative data at the beginning, at the end. So let's run the program again. Yes, very nice. So there's no more space, which means this new line character is removed using this strip, the method. Okay, so I'm going to give a couple more minutes to finish this one. Please give me thumbs up if you can display the text, the file as it is on your screen. Okay? Please give me a thumbs up if you can run successfully the first file, the py file. Okay, very nice here. Anyone else? Okay, very nice. The Ming Hui. So thank you. Then here's a question. What if? So I'm going to open the file my data.txt. Okay, that is F. Okay, so F is the like the here. So file is the same thing. F to open. So I'm going to read the here the line by line and print. It's the same, exactly same thing. Then print. Again, I'm going to read the file again, then the print. Here's the question. What will be displayed, A or B? Okay, so why don't you type your answer on your chat box, A or B? What do you think? Which one will be displayed, A or B? What do you think? A or B? It's just the either of them. It's a binary question. The A or B, which one? If you do not know the answer, why don't you revise the code? So B, Ming Hui said the B. Anyone else? What do you think? It's also a good idea. So not always you first type the code first. Instead, try to read and understand the code. So if you can guess the output either A or B, then you can type and code and run it. So you will learn a lot. So what do you think? It's the A or B? So yeah, and also the guess is a B. So let's try. So I'm going to add one more time of this one, copy and paste here. So same thing as this one. Then we have the print. Okay, then run the program. What happened? It's the A or B? It's the A. So A is correct. The reason is that, so first F is open. So open means, so F actually the point, the beginning of the file, and read byte by byte until the end of the line. Okay, then the one line will be stored at the line variable. Then continue until the end of the file. So then print dot 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 dot. Then try to read the line again. Then that means your point F point here, not the beginning. So you cannot read any further line. So because of that, the answer will be A. What do you need to do? If you want to display the like the B, you need to open the file again. Okay, so that is the characteristic of the file, because file is a resource, so it's not on your memory. So it's a file resource, so you open it, then the read. So it point, it cannot. So even though you use this one, it's not really the box on your memory. Okay, so that is the output. Okay, second question. So we open this one, and there's the command like the next. So next command is a method. It's a method, the next line, like that. Okay. Then which one will be displayed? A or B? So which one will be displayed if you next? Okay. What do you think? Why don't you try this time? So I can delete this one. And here, before we start the for loop, next the file, right? So then running, you can see the first line is a skip. So answer is B. The reason is that this next method is the next line. Skip the first line and next line. So if you another next, like this one, that means two line will be skipped, like this. Okay. So this is the characteristic of the FileIO when you are using on your Python program. Okay. There is another way. So if you read and find, or sometimes when you study the Python, specifically old version of the Python, you can see the with command to open the file. This is not wrong. Okay, this is okay. The meaning is with. So you can see the same indentation, alignment like this one until here. So file is open. So this is open the resource. So as I said, so whenever you use the resource, open, use. So this is a use, then it's a close. At the end of with, it will be closed. So there exists the file manager. Okay, that open, use, close. So it's the safe way to use the file resource on your Python program. However, did I use the open or the close or the with on our program? No, we didn't. So what we did is like this one. Okay, there is no with, which means did I ignore the close over here? So there is no close. Close will be managed by the with, the file manager. What about here? So did I ignore? No, actually not. So there is the new way on your Python program. So it's managed by the garbage collector. So what is a garbage collector? What's the main job of the garbage collector? So every week, the garbage collector come to your home and pick up your trash, then clean the trash can like that. It's garbage collector. Same thing happen on your computer, specifically memory. So let's see this example. So a couple of weeks ago, I introduced the main memory has the two parts, the stack and the heap. So stack is the main part. Whenever you run your program, like the main function will be stored, created on your stack. Then heap is the temporary space. It's a dynamic space. Like for example, when you create the list is not created on your stack. Instead, the heap area will be used. Like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 will be created. What happened? A is the pointer this one and change it to this. So this is not being used. So waste. This is the garbage. So, but it still keep the data on your memory. This is not good. So there is a special program to check, is there any user who are using this variable? Actually not. At that time, the garbage collector clean this, forcefully close this resource, then make it free. Then other program is able to use this space. This is the garbage collector. So same thing in the file system. even though you do not close here. I didn't use the close. I didn't use the with. I didn't use anything, the with, nor the close. But once you stop your program, once your program is stopped, then garbage collector will check your memory and resource, like this one, resource. Then it's not being used, then free. So that is the garbage collector. With the help of garbage collector, your memory is clean. My bookshelves will be clean, and your house, your home, your city is clean every time, every day because of garbage collector. Okay, so this is a garbage collector. So another question is, do I have to think about every time garbage collector? No, you don't have to. Garbage collector will be run automatically and manage the free space on your memory, so you don't have too much serious. But later, if you are the advanced Python programmer or the Java programmer, so from time to time, you are going to forcefully, explicitly run the garbage collector. Like when you have the really bunch of trash on your house, you are going to call the dumpster, right? You can call the garbage collector. Then please pick up the trash like that. So you sometimes you should be able to use the garbage collector on your program. Okay, the next problem. Next problem is called the data science. I'm going to introduce the CSV file. So CSV file is Brian. So can you explain the CSV? What is a CSV file?
CSV files are like separated by like commas, and then you can basically like you can basically store them like in Excel files, for example.
And also, where can you find the CSV file a lot?
Wait.
Like this one. Data.
Science?
Data science. Data.
Oh yeah,
like the artificial intelligence, AI program, machine learning program, you can find a lot of .csv file. Okay, very nice. Thank you, Brian. So you will see a lot later once you get familiar with the Python program. Definitely, you will see a lot of CSV file. What is a CSV file? As Brian, the TA explained, it's a comma separate. So let's take a look at this data set. Why don't you open the data set, the CSV file? As you can see, it's a comma separate file. This line is one data. One is sometimes called the record. So this is called the record. Okay. Sometimes it's low. Sometimes just the data. So line by line is one data, one data, one data, and one data. Then one record, one record, one record, one record. Okay, then it's a step. Each data has number of, it's called the attribute. Or sometimes in Excel, it's called the column. So let's say the first column is the name. Second column is the math score. Third column is the English score. So Lee has 50 points of the math, 50 points of the English. The Biden has the 10 points in math, 20 points in English, like this one. That each the attribute, each column is separated by the comma. This is comma separate file. This is called the CSV file. CSV file will be used a lot. So even the government, like the federal US government, they release every day, every time the government data using the CSV file. Then we are able to use this CSV file in our Python program for what? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science eventually. So today I'm going to introduce how to use such a CSV file using FileIO in your the Python program. So our goal in this the program is to read the CSV file, the data set.csv file, then display the second column, which means 50, 100, 100, 90, and 10. The mass score only the display. So how can we do that? Just like the before, you can open the read the CSV file. Why don't you open the read the CSV file, then add your code while you listen to my explanation. Do not wait because we do not have it's a run out of time. So why don't you keep typing? So first, to read this data, we need to do what? To open the file. So you can open the file. The file equal open. Then the file name is here. So we can use file underscore name like this one. Then read the file. We already used this one, for loop. So you can add the full line by line we are going to use because each line is one data, one record, it's one row. Okay. Then once we read the data, we need to get rid of unnecessary information like the new line character or any space using string. So we can add the line is the line string. Okay, so we can get rid of the unnecessary file over here. Then one more thing is we are going to split the one line. So line is here, split by the comma. So first one is list, second is 50, third is 50. Then store the data into variable list, the list data type. So the name of the variable is called the values. Value is actually it's a list. We learned what is a list. List is the array of the data. So first one will be first item, and the 50 is the second item. 50 is the third item, like this one. So value is the list. Then we can use it. So we can add this one. The values equal line split. Split by what? Comma. What if the data is actually for example, like this one, like this? Yes, you can split by the column like that. But the most of such a data set has the comma separate. So we can use the comma separate, the split. Then next is we can just print. Print what? Values. So this is a 0. And this is 1, index 1, this is 2. Don't forget, our index number always start with the 0. So second column, second attribute is the index number 1. So index number 1 will be displayed. So we can delete the path. That's it. It's very simple. Then we are going to run the program. Let's see the read. CSV. Yes, it displays 50, 100, 190, 10. Okay, so this is output. So why don't you run your program and see the result? If you can get the same result as mine, please give me thumbs up. Please give me thumbs up. So this is the code. Very simple. You can open the file and read line by line. And the first, get rid of any unnecessary information using string. Then split by the comma. Then output will be list. Then you can get any data. So you can do whatever you want, like the average score of the math, average score of the English, and the top score, maximum, minimum, and you can do whatever you want. It's very simple. That is the reason Python is very good at such a data analysis. Okay. Anyone who solved the problem? I'm going to give the 1 more minute to finish. So this is the read underscore CSV file. First, you need to open. Don't forget to add the open. Always you should open, but you don't have to close because we have garbage collector. So, but there exists something, the close. The close will be managed by garbage collector. Then between them you can use. How can you use? Line by line. And you can split by the comma using the split, the method, then that's it. Okay, I believe that you did something. We do not have enough time for the next two problems, but it is very, very helpful. So please try to solve the problem with your friend, or with your dad or mom, or your sibling. So third problem is a heads up. So Nick, do you know what is a heads up the game? Have you ever did? No? Anyone who knows what
I've
is
never,
a heads?
yeah, I've never
Can you
heard of it,
explain
but
very briefly? What is a heads up game?
I've never played it, but it seems like a game that's based around like finding the word based on a description and such.
Yes. So what it's a two-person where the two teams, so you can the heads up but you cannot see. Then the word randomly selected the word. Then the in front of you your friend will explain to you. Then you should the correct. You should find which word is being explained. That's a heads up game. So the key part is the first to implement the heads up. So there is a random word. There is a word in your this is the array the list, and you can select the word randomly. Okay, and explain. So why don't you try to solve this problem by yourself? Definitely you can. If you can solve this problem, there is a heads of file. There are a bunch of like 39. Also, even you can create your own heads of file. So like by the topic, by the domain, like that. So then you can enjoy the game. So this is the problem 3. Then the first problem is the see the US. So I'd like to show you the result first. So it's a Python 3. So before I run the program, there is the list of the city in United States. So how many of them? So it's a 25,376 city in United States. I'm not sure whether this is correct or not, with the longitude and latitude and the state. So it's vertical probably. So it's a longitude and latitude over here. So then what we're gonna do is we are going to plot with this data, city name and longitude and latitude. Then we can plot on our window, okay, which is called the canvas in Python. Let's run the program first. See the US, the P1. So you can see your Python program read the file, then the pointer for each city. Even though I do not draw the US map, it's automatically drawn very nice the US the map using very simple Python program. Even we can see the density of the town or city like this one. You can see this area is Nevada. There's not much city, and you can see a lot of city, the New York, and this probably the Chicago and the Dallas and like that. This is called the data visualization. So data visualization is one of a very, very interesting area nowadays in computer science. So using the Python program, we can do the very nice data visualization. So if you open this file, this is not the completed one. So where's your file? It's a C, a US over here. So if you run this program, it will actually the plot the only one the city. So why don't you read the file, the US city, then the line by line, and get the longitude and latitude and the plot. So if you read this file, you can easily solve this problem. Okay, thanks so much for your joining us for Anyone Python season 3. So next week, as I announced, is the last episode, but it's not on Saturday. It's going to be July 30, Friday, 8 o'clock, the Eastern time. So thanks so much and enjoy the weekend. Bye-bye.